Mr. Stitzel and I will be presenting the next couple slides. This is a executive summary of the curriculum committee meeting where we talked about this in a little more depth. RTSD has been working diligently to staff all of our classrooms despite teacher shortages that are going on. And so as we talk about phase 2 and maintaining there, or looking at phase 1, this year's been a really challenging year for schools in Pennsylvania and even in surrounding states. It's really been the perfect storm. You have been asking your employees not to tough it out. And in previous years, you'd have teachers or paraeducators or any other employee secretaries that would come in when they didn't feel well. And this year, we're asking people to stay home if they're sick. We have limited subs, parents that typically have served as day-to-day subs. A number of them are unable to do so because their children are hybrid or they're fully virtual. And so they're at home working with their own children. We saw an increase in retirements, and there is a significant shortage of certified teachers that are graduating from colleges and universities. Next slide, please. And this is not unique to Radnor. This is a national trend. College students just aren't graduating and selecting education as their major. They aren't graduating with education degrees. Nationally, colleges and universities just aren't producing the number of teachers that we need to fill our schools. And so there's a number of school districts around us that have cited the fact that teaching shortages as one of the reasons that they were unable to open this fall. Next slide, please. One of the things that we've been looking at as a district is teaching certificates in the state of Pennsylvania. And so this chart right here talks a little bit about the teaching certificates that were issued in Pennsylvania, and it runs from 2010 to 2019, which is the most recent data that we can get. And you can see a clear downward trend in this. On the left-hand side, it shows the certificates that were issued by the state of Pennsylvania. On the right-hand side, you'll see the breakdown of the most frequently issued certificates and the least frequently issued certificates. So I'll point out math. Math 7 to 12 it looks like it's 7th down there on the list as the most frequently issued certificate. In 2018-19 school year, we had 216 people that graduated in the state of Pennsylvania and got a teaching certificate to teach math in grades 7 through 12. That's significantly problematic for us because there are over 500 school districts in the state of Pennsylvania. So when you look at the top of this list with the most frequently issued certs, you can see that there's a problem because a number of retirements in any given school district, and you have some school districts have multiple high schools, multiple middle schools. You're just not going to be able to keep pace with the retirements. Looking at the bottom of the right-hand side, you can see the subject areas that are the least, that have the least number of certificates issued: Latin, German, and French. There was 31 total certificates issued in the state of Pennsylvania in 2019. Physics 44, chemistry 62. So really the number of graduates that we have that are graduating and going into the profession is just really not keeping pace with the number of teachers that we need to replace as veteran teachers are retiring. Next slide, please. Mr. Stitzel is going to take over here and talk a little bit about the rise in retirements.
Thank you, Mr. Bechtel. Typically, teachers retire anywhere from June 1st to the beginning of September. And this past year, we have seen an increase of over 31% doing that. That means if you look at the last slide, there was about 5,500 students within the state of Pennsylvania that have graduated and obtained certification, but there was almost 3,500 applications for retirement. So that number is way too close for our comfort. And that's one of the reasons we're seeing the shortage. Ironically, this year, September 1 through September 8, the first week that most schools were in session, there's been over a 400% increase in that week retirement from 2018. So basically, from 2018 to this year, over 400% more have decided to retire the first week of September, which is drastic, and that's causing some of our problems as well. Next slide, please. So there was a law enacted, the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, that was allowed staff, employees to take leaves based on childcare issues or symptoms related to COVID. The act actually sunsets December 31 of this year. It is unknown if the legislation will continue it or not, but we have had 25 FFCRA cases, meaning staff have taken advantage of that. 5 of those were due to a childcare and they were extended leaves. 20 of those were due to symptoms, quarantine isolation related to COVID. We also had support staff. There was 28 of them that have taken, and again, 1 due to childcare and the rest due to symptoms. Next slide, please. So what has Radnor been doing? Well, as you know, our administration always monitors what's going on, and we're trying different things. We've increased our sub rate from 110 to 150 per day. We've increased our billing substitutes, and we've done a lot of postings in different mediums, as well as on our website that we're trying to get people to Kelly in order to do that. We did create a cyber section for K-5. We created the Proctor pilot program in the secondary. We've also taken paraeducators that have expressed interest or have teaching degrees, and we slid them over to help us out for those teachers that are in need that we need to sub for them. We've also looked at student teachers. We found one through Temple University that had a master's degree. So a bachelor's degree. So we were able to emergency certify them, and they're actually going to be doing their student teaching with us while they're helping us out. Administration, we have a great administrative team. I know Mr. Bechtel and many others have covered classes, and thanks to those building principals and the other administration that have done that, because that helped us out in a pinch many times. We've changed our practices. We used to have a lot of conferences and training. However, that has been decreased by the Department of Teaching and Learning in order to help out that situation. We also consult with other districts and seeing what they're doing. Some districts are paying their staff to cover classes during their prep period. Some districts are actually decreasing and cutting some of their electives and using those teachers in the major subjects. Next slide. Mr. Bechtel.
Thank you, Mr. Stitzel. Radnor's communication department has worked diligently to advertise our available positions. The information that you see below on the left-hand side in the center of the screen were posted to the Radnor Reader on October 11th and 18th, respectively. They garnered the second most and third most clicked items, respectively. We also have on our main page on the right-hand side, you'll see we've got information posted for people that would be looking for available positions, so they can readily click on here, and it's easy for applicants to find. Next slide, please.
And just before we leave that slide, just want to mention to everyone, our substitute service, we work with a service. We list there, a Radnor sub versus working with the service. It's really all the same. We just wanted to let people in our community know and be aware that, just because you sign up with the sub service doesn't mean you have to be subbing in other districts. You could only sub if you wanted right here in Radnor. You're obviously welcome, but we'd love to see it just here in Radnor. So that's why there's a distinction that for our community, we're willing to help you, walk you through that process and help you reach out to Kelly services and what it would take. But ultimately, all of our subs, we work through that sub service.
Thank you, Mr. Batchelor. In addition to our advertising in the Radnor Reader and on our website, as Mr. Stitzel mentioned earlier, it's a variety of different mediums we've been using to get the word out. Our communications department and human resources department have been collaborating to post information on social media. And a concerted effort has been made to get the word out using various platforms with the goal of securing more traffic and ultimately more applicants, so we can continue to keep our building staffed as we look to maintain phase 2 and look towards phase 1. Next slide, please.
And if you are interested, as Mr. Batchelor mentioned, please feel free to go to one of those links. We would love to have you on board. If you have any questions or would like help through the process, please feel free to contact the Human Resources Office within the district. Our information is on the district website, and we'll be more than happy to help walk you through exactly what you need to do to get you into our schools to help our students.